Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and we just talked about this game a little while back. People were getting review copies, and a lot of people were speculating that this game was going to leak online. And today it appears that Tears of the Kingdom has leaked online. .xci files are reported to be out there, and the game doesn't officially release until May 12th. But moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation with Ryujinx, and Ryujinx just got a brand new update. So version 1.1.741 and version 1.1.742 have just dropped. In version 1.1.741, there's performance improvements here in Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and possibly other titles. And in version 7.4.2, there's even more performance improvements for Breath of the Wild. And speaking about Breath of the Wild, next up we're talking about BSoD Gaming, and BSoD Gaming just published a series of tweets comparing CEMU with Yuzu and Ryujinx at 4K playing Breath of the Wild. And interestingly enough here, CEMU had the best FPS. On top of that, even though CEMU had the best frame rate, it also lost the most frames when bumping it up to 4K. It went from 120 to 92. For Yuzu here, bumping it up to 4K went from 92 to 87. When Tears of the Kingdom officially releases, I'm kind of curious to see what emulator is going to handle it better right out of the gate. Will it be Ryujinx or will it be Yuzu? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking about handling stuff better, next up we're talking about PlayStation 2 emulation with Play. Play is available for Windows, Mac, Linux, Android, and iOS, and it doesn't need a BIOS file, and we talked about version 0.61 just a little while ago. And now there's a changelog, a small changelog with a list of improvements. If you are curious about this one, I'll drop a link to the progress report in the description below, and feel free to check it out. In terms of what they've done, there's a whole bunch of bug fixes and improvements and some brand new features. For example, file compression and decompression algorithm has been changed for save states, making them save and load almost instantly. They've also added sensitivity here for analog configuration. This makes some games playable since it was previously impossible to walk and run in diagonals with some specific controllers. And they've also added basic support for multi-read circuit display, fixing many elements not being visible in Devil May Cry. And in terms of overall compatibility, Play has reached a total of 922 playable games and counting. So Play is getting better and better, and I do recommend checking this one out. And speaking about checking stuff out, check this out. The MAME team is going to be very excited about this. Someone found a very rare version of Karate Champ. It combines the one-player arcade setting with the two-player doubles option. This does appear to be original hardware and not some sort of ROM hack, and I'm really curious to see what your thoughts are about this one. And speaking about ROM hacks, next up we're talking about a ROM hack on the Sega Dreamcast. Rent-A-Hero #1 has been translated to English, and a whole bunch of goodies have been added to this game. So the creators of this one say it's not an ordinary translation. It includes the new extensive features, including unlockable content, 3D models and animations, VMU graphics and animations, opening and ending subs, interface controls, debug menus, secret modes, developer's message board with original team, skip logo sequence, and bug fixes. If you are curious about this one and wanted to learn more about this action RPG, I'll drop a link to it in the description below. And let me know if you've actually played this one when it was just in Japanese. Moving on, and we're talking about Linux, and if you haven't guessed already, I'm a massive Linux fan. In fact, I'm running Linux Mint right now. Anyways, there's a brand new inexpensive Linux laptop that's just hit the market called the Kubuntu Focus IR14. It's a 14-inch laptop that weighs about, I think, 3 pounds overall, and features an Intel i5-12450H CPU. There is no separate GPU, so it's only an iGPU on this one, but it starts at $895 overall. Honestly here, if you're in the market for a brand new laptop and you only plan on using it with Linux, it's probably worthwhile to pick one up that's been designed with Linux in mind. Sometimes getting Linux up and running on a laptop can be a little bit of a headache. Sometimes there are minor nuances, minor features that require a bit of a workaround in order to get up and running correctly, or at least as close to correctly as possible. and this is specifically with laptops. Moving on, and we're talking about something a little bit smaller than a laptop, the brand new Miyoo Mini Flip, or Miyoo 355 as it's being referred to. Anyways, here RetroBreeze has done a 3D print to give everyone a really good idea of what this device is probably going to look like when it's finished. Yes, the buttons aren't real, the joysticks aren't real, but at the same time, from a size factor here, this seems to be pretty accurate. I'm still unsure about these joysticks. I don't know if they're going to be comfortable or not, but the form factor here seems to be very similar to a GBA SP. Next up, we're talking about another gaming handheld, the GPD Win 4. And Retro Game Core was nice enough to let a lot of people know that basically if you picked up an early unit, there are some screen issues here and you can fix the 60Hz screen stutter issue on your own. It doesn't seem like it's going to be an easy task, but GPD is also allowing people to ship it back in for them to fix. So if you've got a GPD Win 4 or you're interested in the fix, I'll drop a link to the Reddit in the description below and feel free to check it out. And speaking about Reddit, last up here we're talking about Reddit and privacy and piracy and also the courts. I'll leave a link to this article in the description below in the event that you did want to check it out. But it's titled, Court Protects Redditors' Rights to Anonymous Speech in Piracy Case. So anyways, a California federal court has denied a request to compel Reddit to unmask several anonymous Redditors. Film companies say the users' comments could serve as relevant evidence in a piracy liability case against internet provider RCN. However, the court believes that the Redditors' First Amendment right to anonymous free speech outweighs the interest of rights holders. I believe we talked about this one a while back, and I was pretty sure that the court was going to override Reddit and get access to the user's data. But apparently not, and this is a pretty big win for privacy. And finally, as a bonus here, we're talking about PlayStation Vita emulation on Android with Vita 3K. And yes, there's a brand new version of Vita 3K on Android. Version 5 has just released. So in this brand new version, they've added in a whole bunch of things, including a bunch of things people have been asking for. They added in an experimental OpenGL-ES render. It does require OpenGL-ES 3.2. They added in new memory mapping methods, double buffer and page table. They fixed L2 and R2 overlay buttons. They've improved touch handling, so touch swipe and multi-touch recognition should work correctly. They added an optional overlay button to switch between front and back touch screens. They added debug capabilities and they improved DPI scaling. And on top of that, they've rebased the Android version with the PC version, so they both should be pretty comparable in overall performance and game compatibility. And there are a couple of pro tips here. They say about memory mapping, double buffer should be less efficient compared to other methods, including page table, but it should also be less driver dependent, so it should be worth checking out. And if you update from a previous version, the log level will be set to trace. If you're looking for improved performance, you should turn that off. Vita 3K is 100% free. It's available on GitHub, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. It's also worth checking out the compatibility tracker just to make sure that it's actually compatible with the game you're looking to play on it. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.